you then, and then we'll have a quick break for that. Thanks, mate.
G'day, Craig. Okay, can everyone hear me up the back? I'm gonna actually hide behind there in this corner because I'm going live. I'm actually going to demo the CMS tonight. Everyone else is using slides. I'm actually going to demo the CMS in a second, so I need to control my mouse and have a go. Before I do, I'm going to introduce Squiz and explain who we are and just why I'm focusing on one particular product tonight. I'm focusing on Squiz CMS. We produce a couple, and you need to probably understand how the framework of those products work together. So 10 minutes is way not enough time, so I'm only going to be able to highlight just a couple of key points that we go through today. If you want to ask me any questions afterwards, please ask me during the panel or come up and speak to me afterwards. Squiz, who is Squiz if you haven't heard of us? We're an Australian company, we have a global presence, we're an open source company, so everything that we produce we release under the GPL, and we have over 200 full-time staff that support and look after the products that we produce and provide professional services for clients. So they're all employees of Squiz. Sorry, louder. So we have over 200 staff that support the particular product that we produce. In terms of our clients, they range across different sectors. So people that use our products include people like Westpac, for example, a lot of government. In fact, our CMS is the most used product by Australian government and the federal government in particular. A lot of state governments for all sorts of different purposes. It's very much used in the education sector. About 40% of unis in Australia use the products that we produce to run their websites. And all sorts of other strange, different types of entities, call them private sector, religious organisations, call them not-for-profits, all sorts of different types of people. So there's really quite an interesting, there's an interesting story of the types of clients that run with our products. The main product we produce or have produced, our history is around a product called My Source Matrix. It's a web content management system. We started working on this product many years ago, and that's why we have a large client base that use this product. You could pretty much take most of Elcom's presentation and insert it here. We do the same sorts of things for the same sorts of clients with the same sorts of features in the products that we have in this particular product. So we do things like separate the presentation layers, let you put content to different sorts of agents and how you want to do that. You have governance layers to control things like workflow, metadata, records keeping. You can plug in different applications that do different things. You can author content within the system, or you can bring in content from different locations, like there's SharePoint bridges, Trim bridges. There's an API for integrating with a product. There's a graphical interface for being able to integrate with other products. But I thought, given that we've got a limited amount of time, in 10 minutes, I can't really do a lot of justice to the My Source Matrix product. So I'm going to focus on a second product that we have in our offering, a thing called Squiz CMS. It's a new offering. We're changing the way that we're offering our products now, so you're getting a sneak peek of something that's brand new as the way Squiz does things. So how do all these products fit together that I'm going to be talking about? There's Squiz Matrix, so we're changing the name of My Source Matrix to Squiz Matrix, then all the product names actually make some sense together. And that tool is a very configurable web content management system. You've got a high degree of customization, and it's easy to integrate it with other systems. Working with that tool are three other products we produce. Squiz CMS, that's for building highly agile websites. So it's simple to deploy, it's simple to configure, it's simple to use, and it's a very agile product to use. That's what I'm going to demo to you in just a moment. We have an analytics product as well that lets you do some interesting additional functions. If I have time, I'll talk about those functions. Things like being able to set up different tests and monitor which tests are going to be more successful, and goals, and being able to configure that functionality automatically in your site. And search. Search is another important function. We've heard a couple of people mention other open source search technologies. Squiz looked at that. Being an open source company, we thought it was worthwhile. We decided instead to buy a company called Funnelback from the CSIRO, and we've included that technology in our products. And it's available for free when you use Squiz's products to be able to search things within our suite. We bundle all those things together with support agreements that make it easy to look after and control this infrastructure in your particular environment. We call that offering the Squiz Suite, and that's a web experience management platform. So it's that's the current vernacular for what people expect web content management to be able to do, with tools like analytics, with tools like search, with being able to publish to different types of user agents and those kinds of things. So I promised I'd talk about Squiz CMS. Let's have a look at Squiz CMS, and I'll show you what that's all about. So I've got a local virtual machine running on my machine. I was told not to rely on the internet connection, so I'm going to run a demo just locally, and a very simple site to work with, just so you've got some ideas of how this operates. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to log into this system to be able to edit this page. So I click here, And you'll notice that when I log in, everything looks almost exactly the same as it did before, except I've now got a black bar that runs along the top, which gives me some extra functions. I'm able to preview the content, edit the content, go to the settings, and extra screens that I can go to. Depending on my permissions, it'll determine whether I can see those or not. Let's go to edit the content that we're looking at on this particular page. You'll see that everything looks exactly the same, but there's now some boxes highlighting the content that I'm entitled to edit. So if I go here and I now add demo, you'll see that as I make these changes, it changes them in real time, and it's also automatically changed it in the navigation. So as content items are reused in different locations, you can see it's changing the navigation in the different locations that I want to work with. When I go to edit content on the page itself, by highlighting in a text area that uses the WYSIWYG cell, everything looks exactly the same. It's true WYSIWYG. It's exactly what you expect to see. But now available on the top, you can see I've got access to some additional buttons that, as you would expect within a WYSIWYG cell. Some of the functions that are useful is if you want to insert an image gallery, you just pop that in and it automatically does the JavaScript and resizes images and pops all those things up for you. So it makes it really simple for editors to be able to work with that. But I think a feature that might be useful for people to see is the track changes function. So I'll turn that on. Enable the track changes, and let's say what you see is, hang on a second, what have I done wrong? Okay, you can see as I actually make changes to the content, it highlights content that I want to work with, and as I delete things, it will also pop open boxes and sort of word-style track changes so you can see content that people are adding to the system if you want to be able to do that. If you want to add a comment, you get boxes where you can add comments. So in terms of being good for collaboration, this tool is really useful for people to be able to work together on the same content item, and people are able to see what they're actually working on and the feedback before they actually go and publish an item. I'll save that and I'll show you another feature that's useful. Within Squiz CMS, we have good support for contexts. So what to context? There's different ways of setting up the same content item that might be used for different purposes. They might be used for a multivariate test. You want to be able to say which one's more successful on your site. You might want to be able to use it for a different agent. So this is the content that I'll publish to a mobile device, for example. You might want to be able to set up a different context for a different language. So in this scenario, I've set up a couple of contexts so you can go to different agents. You can choose between different languages, or you can choose between different tests if you wish. So you can see there's different permutations of all of these contexts possible, depending on how you want to set that up. So if I go to the French version of the content, you'll see it takes me to the French version of the site. I don't speak French. I stuck that in Google Translate before I come here, so don't pick holes in anything that's up there. I have no idea if it's any good. But that's a quick introduction to understanding what contexts are about, and then you can swap back to preview the content that you're working on. One of the powerful features of Squiz CMS is its inbuilt help. I heard one of the people saying earlier that documentation is important. You want to know how to be able to find and do things within the system. So I can address that quickly by showing you how help works within the system. If you wanted to switch on contexts, I might go back to English because I'll probably confuse myself if I stay in French. I won't know how to navigate around. If I wanted to switch on context and say, what do I do to do that? I click on the little help icon. 8 minutes. Oh, shit. Okay, what I'm going to do instead then is I'm going to go to switch on context by going straight away to how do I switch on contexts. And it says to understand contexts, the first thing, I could read this article, but the first thing is you need to understand where this system is turned on. So show me. And the system points out that I need to go to the system config mode. Okay, cool. Now that I'm there, the next thing is I need to select the context screen. Show me. Great. So it's teaching me at the same time as I'm reading the article, and now I'm in a relevant location to be able to make sense of how to use this particular technology. Okay, given that I've got almost no time left, I'm just going to skip through some other slides quickly. There is an analytics product that you're able to set goals on, measure performance and see how things operate. It also integrates with Google Analytics so you can import the data of your existing Google Analytics accounts and track sites beyond sites that are built within the Squiz suite of products. You can set up variant tests. It automatically deploys the code for you. People want to do variant tests, but they don't normally know how to do variant tests. They're complicated to set up. Using the Squiz suite products, it can do that for you automatically and make it really easy. Squiz Analytics is about goals, recommendations, ABC testing, ease of use, and being able to track site performance across multiple sites. Search, as I mentioned very briefly, is a product that we acquired off Funnelback, off the CSIRO, a company called Funnelback. It is also available as a separate enterprise product, so if you want to be able to search separate content repositories, they do that completely separately from the Squiz suite products as well. I think that's probably it for about the 10 minutes. I'm not going to be able to cram an awful lot more detail in that. Go for it. Sorry, is it Ruby? No, it's PHP. It's PHP. Thanks.
Pricing details?
Free plus professional services. So it's all open source, so it's all free plus professional services. So it depends on what you want. Yep.
What's it kind of run on? Kind of server capacity and stuff?
That totally depends on the architecture that you're running with. So the Squiz CMS, for example, is we make it available as a download as a VM from our website. So it's free, easy to deploy really, really quickly. You don't have to configure anything. You can have it running in a couple of minutes. That can run on a very lean config if you want, if you've got a simple site that you're running. But we scale to really huge sites, as you can probably imagine. And when you're using the whole Squiz suite to do different things, you might need a really complicated architecture underneath it. Totally depends on your requirements.
How come it's not offered in any of these previous packages by any of the vendors? Like if you go to any dodgy ISP, they provide you with 50 open source packages.
Yep. It's new. That's one answer. So Squiz Matrix, the Matrix product's been around for a long time, and as similar to what you heard with the LCOM presentation before, it's targeted at a market that needs a lot of professional services around the deployment of it, and it's not suited for that. This Squiz CMS product that I'm showing you is a fairly new product, and it's very simple to deploy. We're still targeting it at our enterprise customers that we work with. But what we've done is we've set it up to share content between the different types of content. So if you have things in Matrix and you have things within Squiz CMS, you can share the content between them. So you can have an enterprise install and you can have some tactical sites that you deploy quickly.
Thank you.
Thank you.